Hello, my creative friends, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Prompt. This being the end of our week now of themed days of the week, this being Saturday, we're going to go with Status Update Saturday. It's a little clunky. Status Saturday? Studio Status Saturday? Something like that. Let me know in the comments what you think. We can maybe find something a little bit more succinct. Succinct Saturday? No, because that would put too many demands on me. If we can come up with maybe just the perfect S word for Saturday. Yeah, I know what you're thinking too. Anyway, so the basic idea of Saturday episode will be to actually talk about sort of the status of the studio project, of putting together the studio itself. Now, what I had this vision for, like on this side of the screen, I could talk about the volunteers that we need, or where the money, what money has come in and what money goes out, and sort of how we build the studio as we go along, so that we really go full transparent and show you how I build it. In order to build the film studio from the ground up, we obviously are starting with the first film, which from the ground up will be made with no money whatsoever. So right now, in the grand scheme of things, the status update is really going to be more on the film project itself. So I want to give you a little bit of an update on the film project itself, so that you can follow along at home, maybe apply what I'm learning to your own project, that sort of thing. So, the status so far of this is we are currently at the point where we've almost fleshed out the sort of synopsis of the story. So the way I like to approach it is to sort of pre-align our imagination to those needs, as we talked about, not this previous week, but the week before, sort of pre-align, think about all this stuff and create from that vantage point, so that what you're creating is more in sync with what your ultimate target is. And that's what we've been doing. Now, the big problem that I'm having so far, really frankly, is with this show and with the social media demands and sort of just being behind the eight ball on a lot of that stuff. The reality is, look, I don't care who you are, life gets in the way. Time is limited for all of us. We have to figure out how to allocate our time. I've been accused of not actually wanting things and wanting to create drama out of all this, which is simply not true. There's just too many things to do. At the moment, I'm running a system. My first priority has to be to help the people that are going through the system, because ultimately that's going to be sort of long-term advantageous. Then there's trying to convince people to join the system in the first place. Then there's building the social media, doing this vlog. Building the social media is not just to build the social media because we like it and we want to make friends. It's because ultimately that's where we're going to build our audience. That's how we're going to get people attracted and interested in the films that we ultimately make. So initially, possibly, some portion of the audience may be those people that are going to be interested in seeing, can he actually make a decent movie for $0? Is this actually viable? Is this actually something I could go out and do? So I believe that there's a little bit of that audience in there. The primary target audience that I will be going for is the science fiction audience. So we have to find out how to build that audience as well. So for this show, for the daily vlog, to pull clips from this and build the Instagram channel, to ultimately take some of this and convert it into LinkedIn articles, to create Facebook content, to try to grow and expand the reach and that audience. If you imagine if you were an influencer today, and you had 1 million followers who were actually engaged in what you do, you could go out and make a movie for very little money and just simply promote to your influence, to your followers, and you would be able to generate revenue from that. So if you just made some piece of garbage or something that you just made to look cool or feel like, hey, I'm making a movie, well, then you're going to let those people down, right? But if you made a story-driven film, if you made what I'm suggesting, which is we lead with story, we take the audience on an emotional experience, we give them something of value through entertainment, if you're able to do that, then you have now these followers become fans of the film. It's all self-reinforcing. So one of the things that I'm hoping to help writers understand is that building your social media and building your audience, if you will, for you, for your work, for what you're interested in creating, all that kind of stuff. Building that audience is going to help you in your career as it goes along. Now, this is one of the reasons I was hoping people would reach out to me and want to help me build mine. I've had some help, and the people that have been great, but nobody sort of like jumped in to try to take over and really make this thing go. Because if you imagine if this channel were to skyrocket and we got lots of people just watching this, even if people didn't join me in Fast, if this channel became big, then when we make those movies and people are interested in what we do, then obviously we have an audience for that. Right now, I don't want it to be an insular little bubble. I do want to make movies that reach well beyond our built-in audience. But that's a good place to start from. That's a good place to build the foundation and to then launch from. So putting a lot of time and energy into that is sort of where my focus has been at the moment, which unfortunately squeezes the time for working on the film project itself. This is the juggling act. And here's the thing to take away for you is that you will always be juggling. It doesn't matter how much time, how much resources, how much time you put into it so far, 20 years into all this stuff, still juggling that time, still struggling with that. I have worked with thousands of writers over the years. Only a few have sort of gone and sort of worked in their time to help me build this thing that I'm trying to build. I'm working with a writer now. I'll talk to him about revealing his name. I'm not sure if he wants me to just yet. But working with a writer to flesh this out and develop the story and nail down what the synopsis. I'm super excited about the concept and the ideas. The story itself is taking shape really nicely. It's going to be complex. It's going to be engaging. It's going to be something that you have to follow along and watch closely to sort of figure out what's happening and did this mean that? It's going to be a lot of those kinds of things. Because, again, I do believe that if we make a sci-fi movie for very little money, then engaging the audience in that way, keeping them intellectually curious throughout, is what's going to draw people and get them past the potential perceptions of the low budget, right? So this is what I recommend to you as well. If you're trying to write a no budget or low budget project, or you're trying to build that foundation, create something that when people watch it and they notice the budget issues, that they seem like creative choices. They seem like you've at least created a story that works within that context. If everything is interconnected and every little piece makes you interpret every other little piece some specific way, you have to take all of it into account and create from that perspective. So anyway, so the status for where we're at is still working, still moving forward. My hope is for between now and next week to actually have the story itself in synopsis form, so that we sort of in 1 or 2 pages know exactly what's happening through the story. My hope is for me to be able to, this past week, I've probably been able to devote a whopping grand total of about 2 hours to it. That's not enough time to devote to it. There's probably never going to be more than about 5 or 6 hours I'll be able to devote to it if I'm doing all the social media stuff and all the vlog and all that stuff, if we can't find a videographer to help out, all that kind of stuff. This stuff limits my time on that, which is frustrating, but it's the nature of the beast. So we'll continue, we'll persist, keep moving forward. So what's the status for status update? It doesn't roll off the tongue. Studio status update. So what is the status? The status is we're making progress. Development takes time. You have to have patience. You have to understand that it's going to take time, and you have to take that time. So my hope is that we'll have a sort of solid lockdown overview story by next week. And then we can start digging into, we have specific details along the way, but once we have the solid story, then we'll be able to start to make sure that the choices we make here work for the choices that happen here, work for the choices over here. My belief is that you want the bigger picture first. You want the big sort of, what is it? What shape does it take? And the actual scenes and stories and details sort of feed that, so they come next. So that's kind of the status for where we're at this week. It's just making some progress. I would love to have volunteers, so if anyone is interested in any of this stuff, I put up a very crude website page simply because many people have asked for it at fastscreenplay.com/theteam. So if you're interested in participating or helping out or what have you, keep in mind it's not about writing for us. That we're only going to be producing films that are written through the writer's room. But if you wanted to participate in some other way, you're a filmmaker, you're a musician, you're a graphic designer, you're a web expert, you're a PR expert, I don't know, whatever, have a look at the list on that page, see what we need, and then if you're interested, reach out and let me know. Other than that, take this and filter it through your own imagination, through your own ideas. Consider your own project and really use this as a prompt for today. Even if there, I would hope, is or could be some value to you in realizing that even where I'm at, even after all these years, I'm still trying to find the time. I'm still struggling to weave it into the complexities of life. I don't have all day, every day just to focus purely on my writing or my making the film, or like all that other stuff happens to all of us. So take stock of your status. Take stock of how you're going to strategically fit this into the week ahead and write it down. Take action in some way. Thank you for watching. We are still not under 10 minutes. We'll get there. Well, I hope we get there. I make no promises anymore. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow if you join me on the personal vlog entry, or if not, we'll see you on Monday.